Hi, my name is Giritharan, or Gary for short, and today I'm going to be talking about a sustainable initiative which is electric cars. An electric vehicle is a vehicle that holds one or more electric motors which are powered by electricity from a rechargeable battery or a fuel cell. Companies that create electric cars include Tesla, Nissan, BMW, Ford, Kia, Chevrolet, Volkswagen, and many more. When scientists discovered that we were able to make electric cars, they came with many benefits to our environment. And in this video today, we will be going over on how electric vehicles will create a sustainable future for Canadians and people around the world. We will also be making connections to the three units of grade 9 geography, which are climate change, changing populations, and managing resources. Well, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, let's start by discussing the pros and the cons of electric cars. Electric vehicles cause absolutely no air pollution, as their power comes from rechargeable electric batteries which produce no type of pollution. Since the late 1900s, most people have been using conventional cars which run on gas emission. Gas is very expensive and it takes a huge toll on the monthly bill. By having an electric car will clear the problem because electricity is a lot cheaper and public charging stations are free to use. If maintenance is needed, for an electric car, it is also a lot cheaper than getting a conventional car fixed, and maintenance is also a lot less frequent too. Just imagine having your car break down, taken to a mechanic, and getting it fixed. It takes up a lot of time and is also very expensive. Another benefit to electric cars is receiving a tax credit from the government. For every electric vehicle bought, the government gives you tax credit between $2,500 to $7,500. By the way, this tax credit I'm talking about at the moment is the American version. There aren't any sources talking about the Canadian tax credit for EVs yet. So, getting back to where we were, the tax credit ranges from $2,500 to $7,500, which entirely depends on the size of your car and the battery capacity. So, the bigger the car and the battery, the more tax credit you will receive from the government. Moving on, electric vehicles were very expensive when they were first released. But as the years went ahead, car manufacturers have made cheaper models for people who can't afford the high tech models. The prices range from about $30,000 and above, which is still expensive, but the most affordable prices companies have set on EVs. For example, when Tesla first released their electric vehicles, they released models such as the Model X, the Model S, the Model Y. These cars were priced at a minimum of $120,000 and above. Fortunately, recently Tesla has released the Model 3, which is the most affordable car, averaging at $30,000 to $50,000. Another benefit to EVs is that they're extremely quiet, so this will be a good factor to noise pollution that may disrupt people during the day or night. Okay, enough of the pros because there are a lot, a lot. So let's move on to the cons now. Recharging electric vehicles often take a very long time, taking about 2 to 3 hours. Charging stations are often not available in a lot of places and are usually hard to find in many areas. Another con to having an EV vehicle is that the mileage of the car is pretty low, but manufacturers have confessed to improving the mileage in the years ahead. But as of now, an average electric car has a range of 60 to 100 miles per hour. I know that I mentioned that the maintenance is very less frequent with EVs, but once the rechargeable has completely run out of power or electricity, having to replace it will be really expensive. Like I'm talking $27,000 expensive. Fun fact, one time my family and I were taking a trip to South Carolina and my uncle drove us to South Carolina in his Tesla. Considering that it's a really long drive, my uncle fell asleep while driving. But the cool thing was that the car automatically drove itself, and later my uncle explained to us that there was an autopilot mode for the car to drive itself following directions from its GPS. Now that we've talked about the pros and the cons, let's move on to the three units of grade 9 geography and see how EVs connect to it and are essential in helping the environment around us. Moving on to the three units of grade 9 geography, let's start with climate change. Creating a car takes a lot of work and also designing it. You have to think about many things, but something many car manufacturers focus on is how to handle harsh weather. Because if a car can't handle harsh weathers and climate changes, how are people supposed to get to places? Thankfully, many manufacturers have worked on their cars and improved the durability in climate change. But how will electric cars handle the harsh weathers? Elon Musk, who is the CEO of the Tesla company, stated that there are many benefits to EVs, but one of the non-benefits is handling the intense climate. It is said that most EVs have a heating system used for when cold weathers are occurring, and when using the heating system, this will take up a lot of power and electricity from the rechargeable battery, and thus making EVs have a shorter mileage during cold weather, and recharging the battery will have to be a lot more frequent too. Taking into consideration that there aren't many charging stations located around many areas, it wouldn't be safe to take long trips through cold weathers. Electric cars have a good benefit to climate change because they have emissions which are 43% lower than conventional cars that use diesel, thus making the environment and our climate impact a lot more efficient and good as it reduces pollution. Next is changing populations. Electric cars have an impact on many things in our society, and one of them is people and the population in general. Electric cars will be more efficient to the population because electric cars have no gas emission, which creates no air pollution. Did you know 4.6 million people die yearly from air pollution? That is very upsetting to hear, but in the future with electric cars, that number would decrease rapidly as these cars rely only on electricity and produce no type of pollution, not even noise pollution. These cars are extremely quiet, and getting around the suburban areas at night will be a lot easier for people who tend to hate loud cars while they're asleep. According to a 2018 article by Montreal Gazette, a man named George Giulanis switched from a conventional car to an electric car, and the article explained his reactions and how he felt. He specifically stated that it was the best car he ever had. Driving a Nissan Leaf, George explains many efficient benefits that come with this car. Quoting, "Not having to fill up at gas stations is so soothing," quote. Through the article, he also explains how quiet it is, hearing only the wheels rolling on the pavement while hearing nothing else. Not to mention that he saved up a lot of money alone on gas and diesel. Many countries are slowly getting to the process of having their citizens use only electric vehicles. Countries like India, Israel, Germany, and many others have committed to banning conventional cars by 2030, as electric cars will soon be the only cars allowed on the streets. Let's move on to the last unit of geography we'll be connecting our sustainable initiative to. Managing resources. We all wonder how cars are made and what resources we use to make and power them through the days. But electric cars are made and powered much different compared to conventional cars. What many people don't know is that the rechargeable battery in an electric car is actually 40% cobalt. Cobalt is a chemical compound used to make lithium-ion batteries for electric cars. Since all conventional cars use diesel to operate their cars, now using electric cars wouldn't take a big toll on the oil industry, and that would mean we'd have a chance to preserve our oil sands and not waste them, which will lead to no more oil sand left in the future if wasted. Using diesel to operate cars is a smart idea, but many car owners are having trouble with the amount of gas they're using because there tend to be oil leaks, which result in losing car diesel and having frequently to get more gas than you usually would. With electric vehicles, many manufacturers have ensured that the battery and electricity contained and powering inside the car will not cause any electrical errors to ruin and damage the car. Moving on to the conclusion, it is said that our ecosystem and environments are dying, and soon humans will run out of oxygen. Some of the reasons behind this is because we don't take care of the earth properly. Littering, creating pollution, and many other things are just ruining the earth, and soon will be an extinct planet if we don't start preserving things and helping the environment. Creating electric cars are helping us get steps closer to becoming an efficient and eco-friendly planet by getting rid of many issues we're facing like pollution, landfills, littering, and driving electric vehicles will help not only people around you, but the world itself. Benefits like creating less pollution and using no gas to preserve our oil sands are going to help big time with being more eco-friendly. Electric cars aren't necessarily the perfect solution, as everything isn't perfect. There are some mistakes and flaws within EVs, such as low mileage during cold temperatures, batteries needing to be replaced every 8 months, are all issues that we need to fix to create a better future and home for humans. Well, that's all I've got for today on electric cars. I'm Giritharan Gunalan, and this is my sustainable initiative. Thank you.